Hi guys. One of the things we do whenever we come out to the property in Mountain Air is we come from Albuquerque, about an hour and a half drive or an hour and 45 minutes from our Albuquerque house, and we come through this little diagonal shortcut through the town of Belen. I thought I'd just share a little history of it. The area started being colonized by residents from the Albuquerque community back in around 1740 and settled in this little town. And it's a great little farming area in the Rio Grande Valley, as there's a lot of great soil here. And of course that's where a lot of adobe bricks come from down in this area too. People built a lot of their homes and communities and pueblos out of the soil that was down here in this rich, fertile area. So it's just part of the trade routes from Mexico City that Spain used going up to Santa Fe back in the 18th century throughout the 1700s. So this area has a long history that goes back a long time to the early Spanish colonialism. And I'll just show you a little more behind me of the area. A lot of farmland, like I said. And this is winter time right now, into February, so it's still kind of dead looking. A lot of the trees have lost their leaves earlier in the seasons, but hopefully in another couple months everything will start blooming again and look really nice and lush and green.
Can you do it, or do you
Yep,
need a
I'm good. So what we're doing here is we're also driving across what's called Highway 47. It's the big diagonal between Belen and Mountain Air. There's also a little straightaway below of going up through the canyon into Mountain Air. But I thought I'd show this side of it where we have the Manzano Mountains off to this direction here. And this is like the west side of them, while Mountain Air sees the east side. Like UNM has a student observatory up there, which we haven't been to yet, but I hope to get up there one of these weekends and explore that area. But through here, there are a lot of defunct developments back from the 1960s. And you'll see like that sign over there, the little yellow one, and this upcoming yellow one. They're advertising the 1 to 5 acre lots and stuff for sale, and they have no utilities on them. But there was, plat maps designed and stuff, and the developer back in the 1960s was selling the lots and then planning to bring in the roads and all that, but never did, and then went bankrupt, and of course left a lot of people back then holding the bag, so to say, with a development that never happened and no utilities. But still, some developments did happen out here more successfully, and we have some coming up here that I'll show in just a second. Yep. So up here in this section of Highway 47, this is the development I was mentioning before, Tierra Grande. There's a bunch of little houses on 5 and 10 acre lots for the most part. And this is not part of that defunct development behind us that I mentioned previously. This is where people actually build some nice homes and drill their wells. It's kind of, very open space. We like to think of it as just outright barren. We like to have some kind of trees, but it is close to the town of Belen and Los Lunas, and Los Lunas is a bigger suburb south of Albuquerque. It's kind of an interesting one where recently Facebook put a big data center there, and some supporting businesses have been growing around it, as well as Facebook's starting a second phase at this point too. More additional investment, more jobs, technology jobs. So if you're a technology person, that's always a possibility. If you want to find something with, cheap land, you can build your own adobe home, whatever, or come down to Tierra Grande here. I think the lots are still very affordable, though you will have to invest money and do the well drilling, and that's where your big bills will come from. There does seem to be some power poles out there, so I think there is some electricity from a power company that provides power, but you could always go off-grid and do solar. Plenty of sunshine here in New Mexico, 300 and some days a year, where you'd have ample solar energy. Anyways, so we're getting a little closer now to the Manzano Mountains, the front-facing western side of them, so you can get a better idea what they look like. Anyway, as we get to the end of 47 here, we'll take a left and start heading east up the canyon on Highway 60. I think it's about 15, 18 miles up to Mountain Air from that intersection. Okay, I pulled over just to give you a kind of backside view, the eastern view, as the Manzano Mountains come down here and end right along here. So it's like a little mesa area that goes through here. We've already come up through the bottom part of the canyon on Highway 60, probably about halfway or a little less than halfway to Mountain Air from the intersection of Highway 47. This just gives you an idea of what the scenery out here is like along the drive. Let's zoom up a little more. Okay, another little stop along the trip out here to the land is the entrance to the little town of Mountain Air on Highway 60. One of the first major sights you'll see is the Rock Motel behind me, and of course there's a little sign, historical sign marker actually, about the town of the town of Mountain Air. It was founded in 1902, and we're 6,535 feet. Anyway, it's center for pinto bean farming, and when the railroad came here, it really helped the town take off and develop for the pinto bean farming. Up until about the 1940s, when there were some droughts for a drought for several years, and that pretty much, well, along with World War II, really slowed a lot of the economy up here. And before that, it was a bit of a hub for a lot of the native tribes and the Franciscan missionaries, Spanish missionaries that came through here and had settled the area prior to the 20th century, but it wasn't until the early 20th century that the area and town was really founded and took off. Okay, we're out on the land here. We're actually on the well property. I got to make a little repair here. Looks like when I was down here earlier and climbing into the well, like the back of my heel and my shoe just caught on the little line here that comes up to the little water trough for the wildlife, and I hit it and broke it. A little slight break, but enough of a little leak to cause concern. So I'm going to go ahead and take some the water weld epoxy and try to seal it better, and then let it cure for another few weeks or whenever we're out here again, and then I'll turn it back on and see if that sealed the leak or not. I also ordered a spare part to replace it if this doesn't work, but we'll see in a second. I'll show a closer view of just where this little area is broken, and we'll go from there. Well, this is an interesting surprise. It looks like someone already was down here and did the fix for me and got the water back on and checked things out. Anyway, thanks, Tom. Pleasant surprise. But anyway, well, I guess we have a backup part too now. At least I'll have to bring it out here and confirm it's the right thing on our next trip out. So in a moment, we're going to drive what we believe will be all the way up the driveway if we have no problems to the Bill site. It's our first time to do it. So it's a beautiful day out here. It's almost 45, 46 degrees. Intense sun, so it's not very cold. I don't need a jacket. The wind's not very strong at all.
Yep.
Hey, pause a second. So we're about to go do our maiden voyage up the driveway to the Bill site. So hopefully everything will be nice and stable as it was when we were last out here before our little vacation break. Anyway, here we go. So Thane and Judy here after our momentous trip up the driveway.
Yay!
We made it!
Yay!
It's like high five time here, right,
Yep.
girl?
Yep, pretty cool. That's pretty cool. Oh
So-
my gosh. Waited a long time for this day. Anyways.
So we're gonna break for a little lunch. Then we have a few more little chores to do here, and probably do some building up some of the banks along the culverts if I can find enough rocks. I brought my shovel and pickaxe and stuff with me, so it's a nice day to be outside working. It's not real cold, and the sun certainly heats you up a little bit. So here we go. Let's get to work. Thank you for watching an episode of Nature Preserve Life in Mountain Air, New Mexico. If you'd like to follow along and support our channel, please press the subscribe button and gong that bell to be notified. After all, it's free. Free is a very good price. In the future, we will plan to focus our episodes on our eco-friendly build of earthen construction and dark night astronomy, that big guy there, and tourism of the regional area, as well as establishing a Patreon account for the sole support of wildlife in Deer Canyon Preserve. So stay tuned. Cheers.